All right, welcome back to another look at our famous effortless structure. So as always, we're going to do what we always do. We should go into cylinder, and we're going to set our pattern up. What I want to do this time though is basically to think about, because recently in my survival series, I basically was kind of not getting it to work properly in terms of underground building. So I want to make sure I sort of basically solve that problem here. Let's do our randomizer. So recall we always do a 5x6 with um, 464. So let's use blocks. What about some terracotta maybe? Which one do I like to use? Maybe the light grey terracotta. Let's see what else we got in here today. Let me try and think of an interesting combination. Maybe a lighter colour for the accent, like a fancy diorite. Yeah, I forgot about that mod. We added those. Let's just do polished diorite. And what about any glass? Okay. So let's see. So we like to do 464, right? So 4. So then it'd be 2, 2. Of course, I've done it wrong because it's not that. 4, yeah, 4, 2, and then the another 2 of these, right? All right, so there's a hotbar set up, and let's do it properly now. Sure, there's. I mean, maybe there's a different way to do it. It's just I just found it easier to do it this way, right? All right, so there's our nice setup for that. It's probably actually quite a good color scheme actually. So recall basically how we've been doing things up till now, which is basically choose our cylinder tool, do a 5x6, wherever we like. Might want to actually set up the array, of course. So we're looking in positive X, for example, and positive Z, that's fine. So set up our array of positive X, positive Z. So the count is 4, Y is 1, and Z 0. That's really all you have to do is change the one. You have to change one of it to the number you actually want, and then the offset of Z has to be 0. And then it basically works. So if we do this, all we have to do, and obviously I've shown this before. Oh, I've done that wrong, haven't I? Obviously we've shown this before, but we'll get to why I'm making this video in a minute. But I may as well do this one more time. I think it's always good to have like a benchmark of knowing what you're doing, right? Oh, damn it. All right, here we go. And yeah, also because I just forget to do stuff, right, sometimes, like that. So just make sure that, like, the thing is, if something else fails, I want to make sure that I know what's failing, right? So that hasn't failed, right? Oh wow, the Auratech glass actually connects as well. I didn't even know that. I might have to get that in my survival series. Quite a nice color scheme, though, I think. So let's just work about ways to improve it. So the thing knows this is basically what the whole function of the video is about. because it came to my attention that basically, yeah, it can replace blocks and air. But the thing is, because you don't have any air blocks, sometimes the placement it doesn't really work, right? So if I do replace blocks and air, right, and I try and do exactly the same thing like here, for example, where there's a wall in the way. Let's have a look at this. Because I was so do 5, 6. Actually, of course, it's pointing the wrong way. So uh, here, right? Um, just to make it easier for myself, right? So we start from this point, right? Of course, I put it up myself. It's an art form in itself to work out how to. Nope. So we take a look at this. So if we take a look at what's happened here, let's have a look. Now you'd think that's weird that it seems to have stopped there, right? But I've got to replace blocks and air on, right? And that's because it can't replace blocks with air, which is kind of interesting, right? It will replace block and air. It will replace blocks and air blocks, but it can't replace blocks with air. So it's kind of confusing, and I didn't really. It kind of only really occurred to me that that was the case, right? So how would I get the situation? And this is basically if you're say you want to build a big staircase down from your underground, and you want to build a big staircase up like this, it can't actually work, right? Because it doesn't. It won't replace. Because really, what what you're doing is you're replacing blocks with air, and you can't replace blocks with air, right? Uh, let's just try quick replace mode as well. I want to make sure that there's no doubt in my mind, right, that is what I'm saying there is accurate, right? Okay. Technically, I don't even need to do the 5x6. It's really just for show at this point. And so again, with the quick replace mode, you can see we haven't got anywhere near where we need to go. And if we're instance we went into spectator, let's just see this. You can see that basically nothing has really happened here. This is probably all stone, that's why it's not showing up, right? So that is a problem, right? And that was basically it was really just starting to dawn on me that that is actually quite a big problem. So what I want to do in this video basically is try and solve that problem. So how are we going to do that? Well, what I think is probably the best way to solve it is basically to do a break and then do a place, right? In exactly the same spot. And I just want to see if it should work, right? It should work. So let's try and get accurate with that. All right, so let's make sure, let's go into a really awkward spot, which we don't want to, right, so here, right? And we want to get to the surface. So we'll do, let's make it even more exciting with a bit more on this. Okay. So what we need to do then is we're going to do a break. All right. I just want to see, hopefully this will work, right? Are we in creative? And I assume, of course, obviously that it would work in, right, so it doesn't quite come naturally because I haven't done it this way before, but let's see. So breaking cylinder blocks, 5x6. You see, I was having this problem before. Because this is how it's working in... Let me just check that it's not an issue. Interesting that. I'm not sure why that's happened. Look at that. Even it reflects in the water, the scaffolding thing. Let's keep trying this again. Try and get that break in. And I think it could be that I actually need to have it's still not working. All right, so what it looks like to me is perhaps it's to do with not having a shovel as well in the inventory. So there's nothing else it could be, right? I guess we could try it with trees as well. So let's go back here. I haven't got that much room now to work with, but let's go over here.